Hello. Welcome back to the Mae B Mindful podcast. Listen, there's something that we need to discuss because I find this to be endlessly fascinating and it's getting into some deeper layers. It's something that most people don't sit around and think about or talk about. It's not a conversation that I've had with really too many people. And obviously, partially because I work in a unique field. I work with the subconscious, right? There's a ton of therapists out there, but there's not a lot of hypnotherapists and people that are really trained to specifically work in navigating the subconscious. And for me, as I have come to understand it, there is a heavy overlap between soul and subconscious. And so I want to talk about the subconscious versus the higher self and what is driving you. And so through working with clients and being perpetually blown away, and through my own personal work and journey as I work with myself as well, I'm blown away by the kinds of insight, by the kinds of information that come forward in order to solve what people perceive as unsolvable problems. So obviously I have a unique perspective with this. So the kind of insight that I want to share with you today is really coming from that lens. So there's two places that we can respond from generally, and most of the time we're not choosing which one, we are actually reacting. And most of us, until we've really developed a practice and have mastered some other aspects of our being and our makeup, we're generally choosing, or our subconscious rather, is choosing for us. And this is why the subconscious work matters so much, because a lot of what we experience in real time is not actually coming from conscious choice. It's coming from the subconscious, from a protector, from past conditioning, from emotional patterning, from our early attachments, etc., and from what I would call the ego's survival manual. So how it works is your subconscious, when you have an experience, it's pulling from like these Rolodexes, very organized filing cabinets in your system. It's like a vast library, all your past experiences, all your emotional imprints, all of your conditioning. And it assigns meaning automatically. You're not even choosing the meaning. It's basically predetermined based on your past experience, right? You didn't choose it. It essentially was chosen for you. And then we have the ability, of course, through hypnosis to reinform at a deeper level and essentially override what is causing a breakdown of some sort in our life, or creating some type of pattern that's causing us to be unhappy, whether it's some sort of cycle of discouragement, whether it's manifesting in a behavior like every time you have a feeling you smoke a cigarette or you eat ice cream. Obviously that's going to impact your health and not go well for you eventually. So it's basically already decided everything you've lived up until this point, which is why two people can experience the same information and assign totally different meanings and have totally different reactions to it. So your reactions are not wrong. It's just that they're not necessarily accurate. They're not necessarily based in reality. Like there's other options. We can experience things differently if we want. So speaking of other options, there's another place where we can respond from when we are needing to dig a little deeper, outsource. This is what people refer to as the higher self, higher wisdom, God. And what's interesting is this information can come through and we receive this information in what feels like a similar way. So the subconscious versus the higher self. So both can feel like thoughts, right? Both can feel like guidance, but they are not the same. And there are definite differences in the way we experience subconscious information. So subconscious information is pulling from past data. It's assigning meaning based on oftentimes fear and projection, not always, but it reacts. And so the higher self is not pulling from the past. It's not projecting, and it's not rooted in fear. Intuition and clarity comes forward generally as a decompressing knowing, like a release, a relief, quiet, still clarity. And there's no hype around it. There's no convincing. It's generally just, there it is. If you were to use a radio analogy, it's like a broadcast, same receiver, different signal. Okay. The subconscious is essentially playing old recordings And the higher self is live. You're getting real, live information based on what is going to be needed now, not based on the past. It's insight that's coming through in real time from your core essence, from life itself. This is very different. You see the difference, right? And so why clearing the subconscious really matters? Because when we clear subconscious material, it's like clearing static, stored emotional charge, that if we don't clear it, will keep interfering with this signal. It will keep interfering essentially with the live broadcast that you're really wanting to stay hooked up to and stay tuned into. And so when we clear the subconscious material, we create space, we create quiet, we create clarity. We're able to pull off the storm. And in that space, we gain access to something else, information that we didn't know was there, but it's always there. It's always available. So these are higher frequencies, and these are also accessing higher frequency states like gratitude, love, certainty, peace, trust. And once these become more familiar in our body, we start to learn the path back to those. And then they come more frequently, more often, because those pathways and those doorways are more familiar. And what blocks it oftentimes is attachments to these beliefs, to perceptions. I mean, questioning a belief, a long-standing, long-held belief that is backed up with what feels like solid evidence, because it's something you've experienced your whole life, is a very challenging for the ego. And so a lot of people don't want to let go of these beliefs. And the reason why they don't want to is because they firmly believe that they're true. Like, as an example, when you have somebody who has a scarcity mentality and they really believe that there's never enough and they stay closed to possibility, versus the person that is unlimited in their thinking. And maybe they come from nothing and they start with nothing, but it is not an obstacle and they don't blame circumstances. And you see success stories like this all the time. And it really comes down to what frequency they're choosing to tune into, what they're open to, and what they're willing to receive. And so it's not that you have to clear everything and do all this work in order to receive this signal, because it's always live, it's always there. But the subconscious material and static essentially blocks. And if we allow it to, by continuing to believe our perceptions and beliefs and everything and conditioning, it knocks us out of alignment, and we're not able to access that centered, that aligned state where the door opens. And when the door opens, this information can come through and actually, especially with hypnosis, resolve subconscious clutter and release it so it no longer has to be an impediment, because it basically just serves as an obstacle. Like, that's it. It is held on to. We really fight to hold on to it, and we protect a lot of these beliefs oftentimes because they were founded and established through a need to survive something, or a perception that we needed to survive something. So they're essentially survival strategies that we're just scared to let go of oftentimes. So I most recently ran an Awaken series, which is my 7th path training, a self-hypnosis training and experience that I teach. It's a small, intimate group, and I teach them a formulaic, self-hypnotic practice designed to empty the cup, to clear subconscious. And the coolest thing about following along with their journeys and witnessing the changes is, as a result of doing this clearing and just allowing the material to present and release and process it in a very passive, gentle, yet effective way, the change that they're wanting in their life, and sometimes in unexpected and surprising ways, is happening automatically. It's like literally a byproduct of this clearing, because clarity is coming through. Certainty is coming through. I had one client who was really caught in a people-pleasing cycle of feeling challenged in saying no to something. She was sort of inclined to overextend herself, and it was causing this imbalance in her personal life, in her work life. And as a result of this, she is so joyful because she's noticing in her daily life where she's automatically able to have a celebratory no for herself. And this is incredible because she's not having to fight herself on this anymore. It's like I said, it's just a byproduct and a result of clearing things that were actually blocking her and driving this impulse to say yes when she really meant no. So some of the benefits of doing this are obviously, like we talked about, this higher wisdom, reconnecting to our intuition and higher places in ourselves where we're able to receive information that is going to be most helpful for our particular walk. Shifting out of survival states, right? Like when we shift out of survival states and we shift out of fight or flight, if we're in overdrive, then we are doing a tremendous disservice to our body on all levels. It's like we're preparing our bodies constantly for emergency. We're always bracing, we're worrying, we're in fear. This is having an inflammatory response in our body. The body actually can't heal, and over time it will start to break down if we don't shift this. One of my favorite things about going subconscious, about accessing theta and alpha brainwave states is this is where we access creativity. And creativity is very much associated with joy and fulfillment and purpose because we are naturally co-creators. And if we're not able to create and we feel blocked in that somehow, and we're not able to really authentically express, most people generally feel pretty unfulfilled, whether you have decided that you're a creative being or not. This impacts our self-concept, how we see ourselves, how we walk, how we move in the world, what we know is possible, what we make ourselves available to receive, how we operate in connection and community, and then just being able to move into that heart-brain coherence, which is that place where we're functioning optimally, where there's this inner harmony, and we're experiencing these higher frequency feeling states like peace, love, gratitude, joy. So these are natural states, right? And when we can learn how to access them and clear what's blocking us, then we can re-access this higher wisdom, and we can choose from a much different place. We choose from an empowered place of agency and authority rather than actually being driven. So there's a big difference. I hope this was inspirational. Thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Let's go summer. Oh, and the 7th Path link is going to be dropped below if you want to get on the next round starting mid-July. All right. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Mae B Mindful podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us grow and improve. For more information, resources, and exclusive content, visit our website at maybemindful.com or go ahead and follow us over on Instagram at Mae B Mindful. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please give me a follow, screenshot the episode, and go ahead and tag me until next week when I bring you another thought-provoking and inspiring topic. Until then,